still crying the same tears. From Emmett to Nolan, how many more years? Copper blood in these waters, Most High see us here. Peace be still, but the truth gonna appear. Emmett Till, young boy whistling in the store. White lies turned to lynch and dragged him from the door. Beaten, shot river, swallowed him whole. Open casket, mama showed the world his soul. Nolan Wills, 18, boat ride on the 4th. Only black in the circle, now they say he drowned for. Horn Island whispers, friends came back without him. Mississippi history, still hunting, still doubting. Same state, same pain, different name. Black boy lost in the Delta rain. When will it change? Lord, when will it change? Ancestors screaming, we never left this stage. 1955, Chicago boy down south for the summer breeze. Money, Mississippi, wrong place for a black team to breathe. Brian stole maybe a whistle, maybe just a smile. Jim Crow code broken, now they coming in the night. Wild Roy and Malone snatched him from his uncle's floor. Tortured that baby, fanti round, body in the Tallahatchie roar. Mutilated face, mama said let the world see. Acquitted by all white jury, not guilty, set him free. Sparked the movement, Montgomery rose from the flames. But the Delta dirt still holding black boys' names. Emmett was 14, just a child in his prime. Lynched for existing in a twisted mind. Emmett Till, Nolan Wills, Delta shadows ringing bells. Black life cheap in these haunted lands. Most High coming with justice in his hands. 2026 July 4th, independence gone wrong. Broke the Horn Island with the crew, singing freedom songs. 18 years young, big heart, only copper in the mix. Friends white as the judge that let killers walk in. 55 disappeared that day, body found on the shore 2 nights later. They say drowning, no foul play, but the family know better. Questions swimming deeper than the Gulf water's cold. Why leave your phone? Why the silence from the foe? Mississippi again, history echoing loud. Ben Crump calling for truth, independent, autopsy proud. Was it accident or the past rising from the mud? Black boy with white friends, trust issues in our blood.
Why the same soil claim my sons? Ancestor never left, we still the chosen one.
From Till's open casket to Nolan's unanswered call. In time signs, Leviathan rising, watch the fall. No hate, just black love, we hold each other tight. But stop crashing out on each other and demand what's right.
Peace be still,
Through the storm we prevail,
Father's child.
we shall not fail. Both in Mississippi, Delta's cruel embrace. One lynched open, one body lost without a trace. Emmett's killers bragged after the verdict came. Nolan's story fogged in speculation and shame. 14 or 18, young kings taken too soon. Waters claim the bodies, but the spirit touched the moon. Same fear, same doubt, same racist undercurrent flow. But we wiser now, cameras, voices won't let go. Indigenous copper, mountain builder stand tall. We walk together, ancestors answer the call. No more silent nights, no more cover graves. Justice for Emmett, justice for Nolan. Raise the blade. Tell no, but our spirit never failed. We got black love, revolution now. Most High know my heart, make it right somehow.
Peace be still,
Peace be still. From Till to West, the story's still real. Let the world see, let the truth be free. Let the world see, let the world see. Let the truth be free.
All right, hello everyone, Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. All right, hello, love Christy, Lillian X, daughter of Zion, 57 Beige Fox. Let's get into it. Pearly, Truth Brown is in the virtual building. Cookie is here. All right, Aqua Girl Rising, Angie is here. Let's get into it. KQB5. All right, Trisha is here. Stephanie. Okay, let's get it popping. Let's get it popping, LL. I see you, beloved. The lounge is here. All right. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen, and a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, we the people. Okay, so with that all being said, Cindy Katz is here. All right. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. I see you, Fred the Jig. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find her amazing products at Walmart.com. Okay, and don't forget that she sells beard oil. Now, with that all being said, let's get ready to get down to business. Views, opinions, allegations, and accusations expressed by guests, third parties, or commenters are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show or any of my affiliate channels or social media accounts. Content is presented for commentary, discussion, reporting, and educational purposes. Discussion of an allegation does not mean the allegation is true or endorsed by this channel. All persons are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it because word on the street, and I can't substantiate this as of yet, but the word on the street is that this is now a criminal investigation, which would make sense because is that why it's taking them so long? Okay, so they're saying this is a criminal investigation, and the person who said that, who broke that news yesterday on TikTok, said they got it from a very reliable source. Now, again, I can't substantiate it, but that is what's being said. But my question is, did Bart switch the boats? Did Bart switch the boats? Because I have several questions about that, and we're going to get into it, see if we can find out exactly what's going on here. Okay, because now I really have questions. Okay, now I really have questions, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, this has to be, if not the worst cover-up in the history of cover-ups, it's got to be at least in the top 10, in my opinion. Now, they have a lot of key players who are very powerful, in my opinion, but the bottom line is it looks like their story is starting to fall apart. Okay? It looks like the lies are starting to come undone, is all I'm saying. So with that all being said, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you don't. I have not been receiving your notifications. Now, see, this right here is the Ocean Springs Mafia, okay, i.e. the Ocean Springs Cartel. Now, that isn't their official name. That's just a nickname that I came up with for them. And I want you all to pay attention because these, in my opinion, are all of the key players. And I've shown you a chart before, but here you have, Judge Ashley Cole and her husband, Dr. Ben Hudson, Warren's father and the stepmother. And then you have Bart Edmonston Sr., who's also a doctor, and then his wife, Elizabeth Edmonston, who was appointed to her position by Governor Tate Reeves. And then you have Stacy Turner, the medical examiner. Okay, and then you have Angel Myers, the DA, and then you have the two attorneys, okay, J. Tyler Cox and Edward Andrew Paltzik. And then you have Brian Thrasher, from the Cajun Navy, and none other than Sheriff Ledbetter. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about this whole cover-up. Now, I'm not saying it is officially a cover-up. I'm just saying that I have questions as to whether or not it is a cover-up. Because if a serious cover-up exists, if one exists, it rarely survives because of one person keeping a secret. Please pay attention. You see, these things usually survive because multiple people have many different roles, different motivations, and different pieces of information, but yet they all share the same common interest, and that's keeping the story from coming out, keeping the truth from coming to light. Now, in that sense, the structure of a coordinated cover-up can begin to resemble the same way that an organized crime syndicate or enterprise protects itself. Okay, hence them all dressed in black, looking like the Godfather and his minions. Now, that comparison does not mean everyone involved committed a crime, mind you. It means the methods of secrecy, loyalty, information control, and self-preservation can look remarkably similar. Okay, at this point, it is the loyalty that is the glue. Okay, loyalty is the glue that's holding them all together, but someone's about to come undone. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, first things first, when there's a cover up of this level, and I'm not saying this is a cover up again, I'm just saying I have questions as to whether or not it is. But if there is a cover up to the levels of which I expect, everyone doesn't need to know everything. Now, one of the most effective ways to protect a secret is by compartmentalization. Okay. Yeah. One person may know what happened, another person may know what happened afterward. Someone else may know or may have been asked to dispose of something, to get rid of some evidence, to change a story, to make a phone call, to come up with an alibi. Jerry Atkinson, I'm not saying that he did, but I have questions, or simply to remain silent. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, others may know only just enough to realize that asking questions could create problems. Now, that arrangement protects the group because you see, there may be no single person other than the central players who actually know the entire story. And then, if questioned, each individual can truthfully claim ignorance about certain details while still withholding the piece that he or she actually knows. Okay, please pay attention. Organized groups frequently depend upon loyalty, and so this is the foundation of all alleged cover-ups. Friendships, family relationships, business connections, social status, money, careers, reputations, and old favors can all become powerful incentives for silence. As I told you before, someone may think, if I expose him or her, I just might be exposing myself. Or his family helped my family, so now I've got to help them. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Okay? But the story has to stay together. Now, the greatest threat to any coordinated deception is inconsistency. And we've seen a lot of that, if you ask me. You see, that is why investigators, when they're investigating specifically a homicide, okay, they usually pay very close attention when several witnesses use unusually similar sounding words or similar wording, okay, or they repeatedly emphasize the same seemingly unnecessary details, like they keep talking about boats and bilge pumps. Okay, please pay attention. Or they change their accounts in ways that appear to move together. But maintaining a shared story can become harder over time, you see, because people tend to forget what they previously said. That's why you can't remember all of the lies. And then when you tell one lie, you have to tell another to cover up for the first. And then it goes on and on. Then new evidence starts to appear: phone records, photographs, surveillance footage, GPS information, social media activity. Witnesses start to come forward. Forensic evidence can even contradict someone's recollection. And then the people start giving interviews and somebody ends up talking too much, like Jax. And then someone else gets angry, like Warren. Now, you all may not have noticed this, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about shortly, because in my opinion, when Jax was talking too much, it was so obvious on the face of Warren to me that he looked so upset, but he was trying to hide his anger, so it came off looking more like he was annoyed. But you could tell he was trying to hold it in. He was shaking his head and everything, shaking his head. No, I'm going to show you all that because I bet you all missed it. And then someone tries to explain away a detail that nobody had publicly even questioned. The part when Jack said Yeah, don't you think somebody would have seen Nolan scrambling around on the floor and us standing there hovering over him? Nobody had said anything about that, but thanks for bringing it to our attention, especially after now we noticed that there was something on the floor of the boat that kept popping up. Mm-hmm. And then, when things like this start to happen, when the lies start to come undone and the story starts to unravel, suddenly the effort to defend the story can create more questions than the original story even did. And silence can be enforced without explicit threats, too, just to let you know. You see, a group doesn't necessarily need someone saying, keep quiet or else, but the pressure can be subtle. A person may fear losing friendships, employment, business opportunities, a myriad of things. We don't have to get into all of that. But the main thing is, once things start to fall apart, you know what happens? People no longer are so interested in protecting the group. You know what they start to do? You know what they start to do? I'm so glad you asked. People then start to want to protect themselves. All of a sudden, it isn't all about the group. Now it's about protecting myself. Okay? When someone starts talking too much. All right. That's how that always turns out, because one person can bring down the entire structure. A coordinated secret may require several people to maintain it, but guess what? Exposing it only requires one. One witness, one recording, one message, one photograph, one inconsistent statement, or one person who decides not taking the fall for everybody else. That's all it takes. So I want you all to pay attention. Okay, this is why the most important question in examining an alleged cover up isn't simply who started it. Sometimes the more revealing question is who has the most to lose when the first person starts talking? You see, because an organization built around secrecy can appear incredibly strong from the outside. But once the person or the people protecting the secret began protecting themselves instead of one another, because this is what they're all doing right now, please pay attention. So once they all start protecting themselves rather than each other, the very structure that kept the truth hidden can become the roadmap to exactly what exposes it. Please pay attention. And that's where we are, beloveds. We're on the roadmap to someone spilling all of the beans out of the pot because they don't want to take the fall. And they know that the evidence is mounting. And especially if it is in fact true, as has been reported, that there is now a criminal investigation, yeah, I expect someone's going to start singing like a mockingbird real quick. Okay. Now, Aja Katano says, morning, Queen. Just want to say, we have 8 weeks to go until the midterms. People, please, please vote. Also, too, there's a petition on change.org for the removal of the medical examiner, the med exam. Well, absolutely. And listen, you all have to go out and vote for the midterms. Do not let the Republicans win. We have to get them out so they all go to prison where they belong. Y'all heard what Steve Bannon said. If we lose midterms, everybody in the room's going to prison, even me. So let them go. That's where they all need to be. All right. That's where they all need to be. Now, Alta Katana, thank you for that information, beloved. I appreciate you and also for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. So now let's get into the receipts of it all. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, here's the question. Secret Service Sam wants to know, did they search the wrong boats? Let's get into it.
Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update, and something interesting somebody just sent me, that Fart Jr., allegedly his boat on the MDMR report states that the searched vessel was called a Tide craft, right? On July 8th. But witnesses show he used a Tide line boat on July 4th. Now, this is raising a few questions because it was stated by witnesses and shown in multiple pictures on the 4th of July. It seems that the boat that he was on at that day to go to Horn Island was actually a Tide line, not a Tide craft. Sounds very familiar, which does not share the same characteristics with the Tide craft. The Tide line does not share characteristics with the Tide craft. Stay with me. Is it possible, just throwing this out there, just asking questions in my opinion, that a different boat was presented to the officers and searched on July 8th, which would explain why no GPS data was recovered from the boat data extraction? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it possible that something happened on that boat that would justify it to be hidden or even destroyed? I don't know. Just asking questions here. Did the investigators search, seize, or took any pictures of the boat on July 8th that could confirm that it wasn't the same boat that he used on the 4th? I don't know. Things that make you go, And you can even see here in the MDMR report, right down at the bottom in the yellow, it says Tide Craft, not Tide Line. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world. Secret Service Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update and something interesting.
Okay, I have several questions. Okay, it said Tide Line, which is this boat here, as opposed to a Tide Craft. So I'm wondering, did Bart switch boats? Is that why they went to Fort Bayou twice that day? Is that why there was no information about Bart's boat in the investigative report? Let's talk about it, because I have several questions. So here's the thing. Now, the released MDMR materials indicate two separate vessels were searched, identified by registration numbers M14088BU and MI1295CB. However, here's the thing. The M14 is the vessel from which MDMR obtained the detailed Garmin GPS extraction track. Contemporary reporting and the reconstructed records identify it as the Triton. Now, the M1 or the MI12, I'm just saying the first part of the numbers, was also the subject of a permission to search. Okay, there was a form that was filled out, and released records include a separate registration document for that vessel. Now, the MDMR materials therefore show that investigators weren't dealing with only one boat. Okay, they weren't dealing with only one boat, but here's the thing. The boat associated with Bart Edmondson Jr. is described as a 24-foot tide line. Okay, a tide line, not the tide craft, just as Sam said. Now, because I wanted to fact check that. Now, the available compiled witness interview record identifies the boats that morning as including Wyatt's 22-foot Triton and Bart's 24-foot tide line. It specifically places Bart on the tide line and says Warren Hudson rode outbound to Horn Island on Bart's tide line. That same reconstruction says that when the Triton began having trouble, Bart was on the tide line and offered to tow the Triton. Now, the tide line reportedly towed the distressed Triton during part of the return trip. Now, there is also a potentially important distinction in the official record material. The evidence archives identifies the M14 as the Triton and the MI12 as Bart's boat. The archive says MDMR had continuous GPS information for the Triton, but only waypoints, not a continuous track for Bart's vessel. Now, why do you think that is? I have several questions. Why don't they have a continuous track for Bart's vessel and they only have waypoints? Okay, very interesting. I find that all very interesting. And you know what? This is something that needs to be investigated. Okay, yeah, this is something that absolutely, in my opinion, needs to be investigated. Because if there's evidence, or we don't have any evidence, this is just a theory. But It is testable because the MDMR records should allow investigators to connect several independent pieces of information. The vessel Bart was observed operating on July the 4th. Its registration number, this is how they can verify if he switched boats or not. Please pay attention. Okay, the vessel Bart was observed operating on July the 4th. Its registration number, hull identification, witness descriptions, photos, videos from Horn Island, and the vessel investigators actually searched. Okay? Public record currently says that Bart piloted his own boat to Horn Island and piloted his own boat home. Now, his family also says he voluntarily allowed investigators to inspect his boat and GPS device, as I reported to you all weeks ago. Now, separately, the compiled MDMR evidence identifies the MI-12 as Bart's boat, but says he obtained records, or the obtained records contain waypoints. Okay. Reported on the MDMR documents also say investigators met with Bart and pulled data from his boat. And as I told you all days ago, why wasn't that data in the final investigative report? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you like this: the strongest way to test it would be to compare the MI-12 registration, like I said, the HIN, and the make and model against the photographs or videos of the boats that witnesses say that Bart was in fact operating July the 4th. And if the witnesses consistently described or photoed a 24-foot tide line, but the MDMR registration was for an MI-1295CB, which identifies an entirely different make and model, that would be concrete proof of a discrepancy. And it's absolutely worth investigating. The question is, are they going to investigate it? Because that could potentially provide, it could be an innocent explanation, but we don't know. And we want to find out. Okay, we want to find out. Because someone, can own or use more than one boat. Registrations can identify a manufacturer differently than people casually describe a vessel, or witnesses can simply misidentify a boat's brand. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the best way to check it. They need to focus on the registration document. Okay? That's what they need to do. So then we could establish the make, model, year, and length of the M1 or MI-1295CB and then compare it with the alleged tide line. That's better than speculating. So why don't they get on it? Okay, why don't they get on it so we don't have to sit here and keep theorizing? Okay. Azakatano says that photo you showed of the judge and all those people in Mississippi at the table you just showed reminded me of a scene from Rosemary's Baby, just saying. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good movie. And clearly had a cover-up. It was about a cover-up as well. Okay, so with that all been said, thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, with that all being said, let's move right along because it is apparent to me. Now, this is all speculation. I can't confirm, but it just seems to me like Bart might have switched those boats. And I think that may be why they went to Fort Bayou twice that day. Something sketchy definitely seems to be afoot. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, that all being said, I want you all to also see this. Let me just pull this up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
I figured it out. I got the right answer. Look, I asked OpenAI to create this diagram down here. And what does this diagram show you? Oh, look at the boat. You see all these people? Look at all the 5 people at the front of the boat. What are they avoiding? Why are they all on the edge of the front of the boat? It's because they are avoiding the red mark you see in the diagram, which is Nolan's body. Yeah, and the dude in the back of the boat in the orange shorts, he's the one messing with the bilge pump. If you look at the diagram, the red dot at the back of the boat is the bilge pump. And if you look at Wyatt is on the phone with Cito. What is he doing? He said, I gotta go check the coordinates. When the lady asked for his coordinates, he said, let me go look. So Wyatt was over here, over Nolan's body, prior to walking over here and looking for the coordinates for the Cito call. This is the truth. This is what happened. This is why they are avoiding that space. Why is there a void between these 5 people right here? Why is there a void?
I absolutely think they're standing like that for a reason. If you all remember the first time I showed you this picture, I said, if the boat's being towed, why are they standing on the ledge of the boat? That makes no sense. Why would they be standing on the ledge like that?
Between these 5 people, what are they avoiding? What are they looking at? Look at the diagram. The red spot is known as body. This is the truth. This is the truth. I had OpenAI recreate this diagram and make the boat glass and transparent so we can see right through it and show y'all where the build pump is and where Nolan's body is. Now, give me my damn check.
Not give him his check. Now, there it is. I enlarged it for you all to see. Now, what do you all think? Because definitely it seems like something suspicious was going on that boat. Okay? Definitely suspicious. And like I told you all, if the boat was being towed, because we saw the rope, right? Like they were loosening up the rope. So if the boat was already being towed by Bart, why would they call sea tow for a tow when you're already being towed? Because that was absolutely their alibi. Okay. And that video was supposed to be their alibi too. But as we can see, it's all backfired on them drastically. Okay. Please pay attention. Nolan is clearly speaking to us from the grave, honey, and sending out the information and receipts. Ron says 2 things. I think the girl who went to find the phone in the house was the mom. And this cover up fits the criteria for a RICO case. It absolutely does fit the criteria for a RICO case, beloved. I absolutely agree. And that's why I showed you all that picture of them looking like a whole mafia. Okay, absolutely. All right, absolutely, I agree. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Yeah, this is all crazy. So when you say the girl who went to find the phone in the house was the mom, are you talking about Tashima? Tashima is Javon's mother who went to pick up the phone. Now, with that all being said, let's go to the next clip. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. That right there was smart thinking on his behalf. And that whole diagram, you know, it looked pretty interesting. Okay, it looked pretty interesting. Now, let's go to the next set of videos.
Officer Doofy, like, thanks to his caption there, what does his caption say? Breaking. Exclusive images shared off the Triton boat being towed by another boat. After the... Okay, so again, you were being towed here, but you're also calling Cito for a tow. So why would you call Cito for a tow when you're already being towed?
Because they needed an alibi. They needed an alibi.
And Officer Doofy, he said it right there. If he said it, you know it's true. He said y'all are being towed. So again, explain why you'd be calling Cito to get towed when you was already being towed. But also when you called Cito, the coordinates placed you on Horn Island. Y'all are far away from Horn Island, right there. Y'all are not on Horn Island, where the GPS coordinates. So, hey, who's lying here?
Straight lying.
It's only 4 minutes of this video for me to work with. Watch what I've noticed. Keep your eyes.
Now, I want you all to pay attention because I've shown you all this video before, but I just noticed something last night that I didn't pay attention to before.
On this one and Warren, okay? Watch right after the first question.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and...
Did y'all see it? Did you all see them literally lock eyes? I'll do it again slower for you.
Now, pay attention. I did show you all this before, how they looked at each other as confirmation.
Some people have gone out.
Now, look how Warren pulled his shirt down and took a deep breath. Clearly a question that made them uneasy.
Warren wasn't ready for him to break eye contact yet. He wanted to say something with his eyes. Speaking of signals, because this guy really thought that nobody would notice. Now, I'm not sure who this guy is, but notice how he's wearing a hat that says Call Cox. Now, y'all remember that Bobby Cox is the mayor of Ocean Springs, and he's friends with these people. Cox is also the name of the lawyer that they hired first. Watch what I caught twice in 4 minutes.
That clip of all of us on the boat, who it is going to believe what they want to hear. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we crack your super secret code, dude? We'll just do baseball signals, guys. They'll never suspect. Which is
Do y'all see that? I told y'all days ago he was giving baseball signals with his cap. I am so done. That's the oldest trick in the book, literally.
honestly just a testament for how stupid these kids are. They have to have an adult sit in the interview with them and touch their hat. I can't wait for the rest
Hold on. I was so busy laughing. I think I missed the part I wanted to point out. There was a part, or maybe I put up the wrong video, but here's what I wanted to point out to you all that I just noticed last night. There was a video, I think it was this one, maybe not, but she did a video where she's showing the same stuff or similar, and then she pointed out the lady in the red and white bikini. Okay? Yeah, I think that was another video. But anyway, in that video, she said that looks like her passing out beer on the boat. Now think about that. If that was Warren's mom or stepmom, what the hell would she be doing passing out beer on the boat to people who are underage? Okay, please pay attention. Likely the adults that were there absolutely knew that they were drinking underage. Okay, I find it all so nefarious. Now, Rupert says popular but highly illegal, especially in Mississippi, is GPS spoof devices. It makes it super easy to alter GPS location, making it seem as a boat never moved while your boat is in a different location. Really? Interesting, beloved. Thank you for that information. That's significant. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And let me just say, from the video that we did the other day, the panel discussion, I saw a couple of people in the comments saying that you gave the best breakdown, especially when you talked about that timeline and what Javon had said that pretty much contradicted what Warren and his little minions said on Rage Batum Tatum show. Okay, so shout out to you for that, and thanks for the contribution. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, they said there's no rest for the wicked, and clearly there isn't. I mean, a drastic change. Look how sad Jax is looking, you guys. I told you all that the other day, that Jax was looking sad. Doesn't he look pathetic? He knows it's a wrap. And you know what? He probably didn't even have anything to do with it. Probably was just there along for the ride.
We loved him dearly. Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt.
Now, this is where I want you all to pay attention. First of all, he laughed, he smiled because he realized how stupid he sounded, I guess. I don't know. But he was literally laughing. He said we loved him dearly. He knew he was lying. And for some reason, that was funny to him. But look at what he's doing with his mouth right here. Now, why is he doing that with his tongue? Well, if you ask me, he's doing that to try to keep from bursting out into laughter. Okay, I'm going to roll it back. And I also want you all to look at Warren's face, because this right here, what he said, pissed Warren off. He was trying to hold it in, but you can see the anger. He looks more annoyed than angry because he's trying to hold it in, but you notice him shaking his head too. Okay, pay attention. I'm going to roll it back. And first of all, another thing I want to point out is people at this age, they don't use the word dearly. We loved him dearly. Who says that? That's what older people say. Okay, they know darn well they don't talk like that. We loved him dearly. That's why he almost laughed, surely.
We loved him dearly. Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know what happened to him more than we do. I mean,
He's literally trying not to crack the hell up. I want y'all to pay attention. He's trying not to crack up.
Want to know what? I mean, Nolan was like a brother to all of us.
I mean, we loved him dearly.
Look at Warren. Warren was rolling his eyes. Now watch he nod his head no. He barely does it. So you got to pay attention.
Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know.
Hey y'all, hey, I was tagged in a video from a reliable source that the 19th Circuit District DA office is no longer looking at the Nolan Wells case as an accidental drowning. However, they are now have moved on to looking at it into a criminal investigation, and I think that that is great news. I don't want to get too excited yet because I did go searching in the news outlets and things of that nature, Ben Crump and other people who have been keeping up with this case, and they have yet to mention that yet. So I don't want to get too excited, but the source is very reliable, and he is saying that his inside source has told him that this is what the DA office is now moving into, looking at it as a criminal investigation. I always say I want to be excited, y'all. I really do want to be excited. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. So I'm praying and I'm hopeful that, later this evening, hopefully something will pop up on the media, the news outlets to confirm.
There's things that seem weird there. And it's still, to me, you were in the location where his body was found, very close to where his body was found. And that's when you called for help and your grandfather called to cancel help, and there were 7 people on the boat, and there's some commotion in the background, and it doesn't sit right with me. Like I said, boating culture, I don't know how you leave with 7 people in a boat full of water. And I also don't know how you leave with 7 people and not a boat full of water and end up not going very far, because they were still right off the west tip, and having a boat full of water. I need somebody to explain to me how that happened in calm seas with a boat that was operational when you loaded it.
Javon Williams has spoken directly to major networks, offering his own account of the last time he saw Nolan, and directly disputing the idea that Nolan would have chosen to stay behind at all. Even Bart Edmiston, a young man whose actual role in this entire story amounts to helping tow a distressed boat, has had his attorney speak publicly and repeatedly, correcting a false claim that spread about him and describing the threats his family received as a result. Every one of these people made a choice, at some point over the past 6 weeks, to speak publicly about what they know, what they remember, or what they believe. Some of those accounts, as we've covered before, directly contradict each other, but every one of them exists, on the record, in that person's own words. Katie McCormack's account exists differently. Here's what's actually been reported, and it's worth being precise about the difference between these two categories, because they've been treated as interchangeable online when they genuinely aren't. The Daily Mail identified Katie McCormack, 19 years old, as the young woman named in the friend group's account of that afternoon. That reporting didn't come from Katie herself. It came from her sister, Gracie McCormack, who gave a direct, on-record quote. Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out on, Gracie said. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Notice, again, exactly whose words those are. Gracie's, not Katie's. A sister speaking on her behalf, relaying what she says her sister told her. Separately, Christine has described a private, face-to-face conversation with Katie directly. According to Christine's own account, Katie told her that when she and Nolan said their goodbyes, he told her he intended to head back and rejoin his friends. That's the closest thing to Katie's own account that's ever reached the public, and even that arrived filtered entirely through Christine's retelling of a private conversation, not through anything Katie has said publicly herself. 2 second-hand accounts. A sister's relay and a mother's retelling of a private conversation.
Where we had left off, Warren had already called Miss Christine, and then they somehow ended up at Jax's grandparents' house. That's where they all stayed that weekend, and so that's why Nolan's keys were over there. They had to have been at the grandparents' house, who mysteriously never showed up during any of these confrontations. Somehow the phone had gone from the party that they were all at to Jax's place, and then Warren left after a phone call to Morgan, According to them, 10 to 15 people showed up and just walked into Jax's house and demanded the phone. Wyatt gave the address in which the boat was at. They all start migrating over there. Then Morgan and Wyatt and another friend are tracking their 360s and seeing that they're going over to Wyatt's house. Then they call 911 to tell them that the police are on the way to his house. Then they're searching the boat, and then they come back to Jax's house around 1 o'clock in the morning, according to him. Mind you, that's when they explain to the police about their friend being missing. And so then the report says at 1:38 in the morning, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office say that they spoke to several of the friends that were on the vessel with Nolan, saying that he was in the company of an unknown female. But Morgan, Jax, and Warren all claimed that they did not travel to the island on the same boat as Nolan. So who did they talk to? Because it sounds to me like they had told the police that they were on the same boat as him. Keeping in mind that this is what Warren told Miss Christine.
Named Katie. And so then it turned into, Katie is also missing. No one can find her. And the explanation of no one knows this Katie, like we've never met her.
And Tristan said this.
I was talking on my other buddy's phone, talking to Warren. He was dialing Coast Guard because he hung up the phone and was like, hey, this is them, bye, and hung up the phone. And that was the last time I talked to him.
Mind you, Tristan is friends with Katie. They are mutuals. I have confirmed this. So now that we've got that timeline straight, let's back up to something that Warren said during this interview.
But if you're motivated enough to do it, yeah. Like, I made a phone call to my mom, and I had to call her like 8 times before she picked up because either her service was bad, because she was on the back side of the aisle, on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through.
Do y'all see that? Let me play it again slower for you.
Either her service was bad, because she was on the back side of the aisle, on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through.
Oh no. Not only did Warren confirm that his mom was on the south side of the island, but Warren himself said that if you're motivated enough, you can call somebody. I tried calling my mom 8 times. Yet this is what he said last time.
A little off the island, you have cell coverage, and even on the island, like I called my mom when we were on the island, it was fine.
So which is it? Did you call your mom with ease, or did you try to call her 8 times because you were motivated to get in touch with her? But Warren wasn't the only one to slip up, because listen.
And he's on the phone with Cito, and he's trying to get them on the phone. And as he stated in the moment, he's like, Cito's just asking all these dumb questions. I can't figure out what's going on. And so finally hangs up. And after the trim to the motor started to work again. So they manually trim it down by the buttons on the motor, trimmed it down, and some electronics started to come back on. And they got the boat to crank over, and they're like, all right, untie us.
So first off, Jax just proved that the boys put the phone on mute during the call with Cito. Because I've listened to the entire 8-minute call, and at no point did they ever say anything about them asking all these stupid questions. Then he said after they hung up on the Cito, that's when it started working again, and they said, okay, untie us, implying that it had been tied up to the other boat the entire time. But we see in this video that they are hauling the line back in right here as he's on the phone. See, you can see right here where the line is being pulled in from across the way where the boat is stationed. Meaning he had already hung up with Cito at that point, and he had to have been on the phone with someone else. And what we see here is, once again, we have an interview where they go into so much detail about stuff that doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and first off explain a boat.
We get how a bilge pump works. We get it by now. Stop talking about the bilge pump. What we actually want to hear about is the multiple stops that were made before ending up back at the grandparents.
Now, I want you to remember that I told you all earlier in this broadcast, and I believe yesterday, that when people are given all these extra unnecessary, irrelevant details, they're usually lying, okay, and trying to cover up something. And they're just filling in the blanks with this talk, that really is really nonsensical. It doesn't have anything to do with what people want to know. It's like filler, like using filler words.
Parents' house before they even took the boat to the boat dock. We want you guys to explain how the Cito was canceled by the grandfather on the captain's private line before you guys had even hung up with Cito. That's why nobody believes a word that you are saying. Because I showed y'all yesterday how AI had clearly doctored these photos. If you missed it, look silver pole, look no silver pole. It's actually white. And if you look at this picture in the grandparents' driveway of the Triton, you will see that the little handrails are not leaning over. You will see that the rails are going straight up and down and not leaning, which is why I also suspect that the identity of whoever this is was intentionally covered up, because first off, who wears this weird swimsuit thing? This is somebody who, if they were with them, would have stood out in a crowd. But this woman who's in a red striped swimsuit with a white baseball cap shows up in a lot of different pictures, just oh so obscured. Here she is again, handing out beers on Bart's boat. So
See, that's the video I was talking about. Okay, this is it. She said, here she is again, handing out beers on Bart's boat. So whose mom was that? Now, was that Warren's mother or his stepmother, the judge? Okay, please pay attention.
I personally suspect that whoever that was in fact on the Triton, and they used AI to change her clothing and to obscure her identity. Because I think this was either Warren's mother or Wyatt's stepmother, which would explain the older female voice people have said they've heard on the Ceto. Because otherwise, why would he need to call his mother 8 times? Unless, according to his own words,
If you're motivated enough to do it, yeah.
because remember, there is a 4th boat out there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Holy fuck, I just accidentally stumbled onto something that literally is concrete proof. Oh my god, next video coming. Oh my god!
In jail yet. I mean, we're not geniuses. Wyatt's on the phone with Ceto in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something? Or scrambling around, or everybody in a small space on the boat looking at him or something. I mean, it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Ceto if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the...
This is literally a confession, in my opinion, okay? This literally sounds like a whole confession. And look how they're all looking. Like, dude, stop talking so much. And then someone asked in the comments, why hasn't Wyatt spoken? Well, that's because Wyatt has sense. Wyatt and Bart have sense, or their attorneys have sense, because someone has told them not to speak. And they've done themselves favors by not speaking, okay? At the end of the day, because the ones that are speaking are saying all the wrong things that make them look guilty as hell.
things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. We can.
You'll be in jail soon, okay? The arrests are going to be made soon. I want y'all to pay attention. The evidence is mounting on them, and they're going to have to arrest someone, whether they want to or not. Because Ben Crump said, supposedly, Ben Crump said that Katie saw Nolan get on the boat, okay? Saw him get on the boat. So if that's true, that puts Nolan on that damn boat and not getting off. At least not breathing. Let's continue.
There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead.
He says, then he looks at Warren and says, go ahead, as if I've said enough already. Yeah, you did. You said too much. Okay, because you let us know that you were thinking about a murder, and you were also thinking about covering up one. Because otherwise, why would you say that? Okay, why would you say that, sir? Yeah, I think that's absolutely what y'all did. And we already know we saw something down there on the floor of the boat scrambling around, like he said. I'm sorry, that was a whole confession as far as I'm concerned. Alexa, play Confessions by Usher.
I think, especially about the Ceto call, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear.
Since we're asking questions, I have a couple of my own. Did you know that when recounting memories, people often repeat the physical experience of that memory? For instance, if you live down the street, you may point toward the direction of your house. If you remember seeing mountains to your right, you might place those mountains to the right when telling a friend about it later. And just one more question. What time did the Ceto call happen? And what time was the picture taken? Because I thought you said you left at 4:30 because that's when you got the boat fixed. So wouldn't the CTO call have to have happened before that?
There's nothing.
What's timestamp on that video?
But that's not our burden. See, that's the problem. You're putting this burden on us, all right? There's never been
Avoidant gaze, avoidant language, blame shifting, self-victimization.
one piece of
you
evidence.
did that to yourself, Paul, when
No,
you
we
said,
didn't.
here's the boat that day and he's not on it. That may very well be true. That may be
no,
absolutely
we
true.
Didn't, we
and
didn't
I'm
do
saying,
that to ourselves.
when was the video
What?
taken?
Well, no, I'm telling you.
Around
that we have
4:30,
multiple-
July 4th.
Yeah.
Why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're.
You'll be in jail soon enough, but please pay attention. So, also, let's not forget how they lied about knowing Katie. They lied about knowing Katie twice. In fact, Mrs. Christine Wansley said that they told her that Nolan left with some girl that they didn't know who the girl was or some girl he just met. And then in the report, they said that it was Nolan left with an unknown woman. Okay? Now, in my opinion, I think they did that to stall the investigation, to act like they didn't know who Katie was so no one could question Katie. Because if no one knows who this strange random woman is or girl that Nolan wandered off with, how are you going to ask her to confirm or deny their story that Nolan never, in fact, got on their boat? Okay, I want you all to pay attention. That's why they lied about knowing Katie in the first place. Okay. And also, so people wouldn't know where to start, so the investigation, they wouldn't know where to start, who to talk to, who to look for. Okay. All they'd have to go on is what they said. And they said that Nolan didn't get on the boat. He stayed on the island. Now, if y'all don't know who the girl is that he was with, that's not on us. They weren't going to tell who Katie was. Okay. But something happened to make them go ahead and tell it. And I wonder what that was, because they sure lied. And they lied for a very specific reason. Okay? They lied for a very specific reason. Now, another thing is, let's go to this diagram. Oh, and another thing. Look at how Warren is looking so stressed out and losing all this weight and everything, right? And Warren is the only one, according to Rage Batum, Tap Dance, and Tatum, who refused to take that fake lie detector test, the fake polygraph, the one that tests your voice levels or whatever. Warren wouldn't even take that, according to Tatum. But hold on, lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, let's take a look at this. Okay, so we were talking about how they didn't return the throat and the lungs. Now, some people have speculated, and I'm not saying this to be true, but some have speculated that, in fact, Nolan could have been choked out. Now, we do know that they claim that Carter, and I'm not sure if any of the rest of them, but they allege that Carter knows jujitsu. And that's interesting because according to my calculations and research, someone who knows jujitsu can put you in a chokehold that could absolutely cause discoloration near the occipital bone that's located at the lower back part of the skull. This localized discoloration typically occurs through 3 specific physiological mechanisms. Okay, let's talk about it. And in case you forgot about the discoloration, hold on, let me just pull that up. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Urubali, thank you, beloved, for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate your peace, love, and blessings. Now look at this. Look at this positioning right here. It could have caused this. And I'm not saying that it did cause this. I'm saying that it absolutely could have. From my research, like I just told you all, it says there's 3 different mechanisms. So let's talk about them. This localized discoloration typically occurs through 3 specific physiological mechanisms. The first is vascular back, okay, pressure. During a blood choke, such as a rear naked choke, or they call it a guillotine, the opponent's arms compress the jugular veins on the sides of your neck. Because the jugular veins drain blood away from the head, blocking them causes a sudden severe backup of blood pressure and in the scalp and the facial tissues. Now, this back pressure can rupture tiny capillaries, okay, resulting in petechiae, which are small pinpoint red, purple, or brown spots that frequently appear across the scalp and near the occipital base. All right. So that might be absolutely what was done to Nolan. Of course, I can't confirm that. These are just theories I'm putting out here, and allegations are not evidence of wrongdoing. They're just that, allegations, okay? My own opinion. At the end of the day, I'm not saying any of this should be substantiated or has been substantiated. And remember, no one's proven guilty until they're in a court of law. Now, with that all been said, pay attention, but that absolutely looks plausible, right? Absolutely. And then you got to get past all of these people right here to get to the entire truth of the matter. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, with that all been said, we're almost out of here. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Only one more announcement. And I will be back later. We'll be back later. Now, let me share my screen.
Hey, family, this coming Wednesday, August 19th, should have been Nolan Wells' 19th birthday. We're all coming to Biloxi, Mississippi to St. John AME so that we can pray, so that we can petition, and so that we can plan. I want you to come stand with us and the family as we look to God for direction for our next steps. If God be for us, who can be against us? So be with us on Wednesday, August 19th.
All right, so with that all been said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. And listen, turn your notifications on because I will likely be back at about 4:30. Okay, about 4:30. And make sure you all tune in. And when I come back, well, you all will see when I get back. Now, with that all been said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, and all of that. Remember, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, above all else, keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Oh, you can't hide from yourself. You notice yourself. You can't hide from yourself. I know your mind going crazy. Yes, that's your conscience eating away at you. You can't hide from yourself. I see it in your face. You can't hide from yourself. Everything the devil told you to do, you know that we know. It's not about race. Well, I wanna see justice prevail, because I know the hell you lie and the story don't add up. Subtract the evil grown folks that's hiding the truth. You can't hide from yourself. I know your mind going crazy. Yes, that's your conscience eating away at you. You can't hide from yourself. I see it in your face. You can't hide. I think you know your conscience wanna scream out loud. Them people lost their son, and you wanna run. In your spirit, I hear it. God most high washed up that tide, and now you can't hide from yourself. No, not about, no, yeah, yeah. The ancestors speaking and they walking on your soul. You can't hide yourself. You know what was did. The nightmares, the sleepless nights, that's gonna get worse. I see it in your face. Since you wanna get in front of camera, we know what you did last night or daylight.